today. I have the beautiful and talented Alexa Carlin with us. She is the CEO of Women's Empowerment X. And she has been a speaker at over 200 plus events, physical events, virtual events, and she's all about helping women and people help grow their brand and business. So without further ado, I would like to invite my dear friend Alexa to join us on this live stream. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining us today, Alexa.
Thanks for having me. Super excited to be here.
I am so excited about this topic. Look, we're getting all these yeses in the comment here. Oh, I said Alexa and my Alexa's going off.
Yeah. That happens a lot.
Oh my gosh, I did not think about that. That is really funny. We got people from Canada as well. Hey, Delon. So we are talking all things public speaking today. Not only are we going to have a great conversation on how to really land and find and connect authentically with more virtual speaking engagements this year, but I also really was so inspired and empowered by your personal story, Alexa. And I got to hear Alexa speak live in 2018 at Women's Empowerment Expo in Fort Lauderdale, and the room was silent. You could hear a pin drop. And, I'm sure everyone's heard the saying, storytelling is the most effective method of speaking. And you have really nailed the how to be a public speaker, but how to infuse storytelling into speaking. So Alexa, I'd love for you to kind of, for those of you who don't know you on this live stream, can you tell us a little bit of your story and the makings of that really was the catalyst to creating Women's Empower Expo and, where your current journey is today?
Yeah, definitely. So I've been an entrepreneur since I'm 17 years old, always with a mission to make a difference in at least one person's life every single day. I'm a big believer in the power of the individual and how that creates a ripple effect of change. And from such a young age, I fell in love with the journey of turning an idea into a reality. And so I saw that entrepreneurship could be my vehicle to make that impact. And I really went on this journey. I was starting different ventures. I was designing jewelry for an LA-based fashion company. In high school, I started a blog to help instill confidence in young girls and women in college. And then a few months before graduating from the University of Florida, I had this crazy near-death experience where a bacteria got into my bloodstream and it sent my body into septic shock. And I was induced into a medical coma, given a 1% chance to live and 24 hours. So that changed my entire life, from the things that I experienced in the ICU to the ongoing health challenges I've had since. I was later diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, which is a chronic illness. There's no cure for it, so I have to live with it day in and day out. And there was definitely a long time where I was waiting to get my old life back, which I think is very important with what we're dealing with right now, right? We're waiting for the old normal. We're waiting for this pandemic to be over. But I truly believe that you must not wait for your life to change. You must change your own life. And yes, there are so many things out of our control. I mean, there's so many things out of my control during this 7-year journey. I couldn't control that I had this autoimmune disease. I couldn't control if I was going to feel healthy or not. Like, I couldn't control a lot of things. And for a long time, I was putting all my energy towards those things. And it's a waste of energy. It doesn't do anything. I mean, think about when you feel helpless. Like, it depletes your confidence. It depletes your energy to put towards things that will help you move the needle forward. And so I decided, this happened for me, not to me. And while there may not be hope that I'll ever feel like I used to, I was very curious to what may happen if I don't give up. And I really was fueled by that curiosity. So I decided to start sharing my story vulnerably, authentically. And when no one gave me an opportunity to speak, I literally reached out to 60 different organizations. And these were like small events, like in South Florida when I lived there. And I received all 60 no's or no responses.
Wow.
So anyone listening about like speaking, you can imagine how discouraged I felt. But that passion was still inside of me. That burning fire was still inside of me. And I was like, why am I putting my dreams in the hands of some stranger, some event organizer I don't know. And that's when I really decided to create my own opportunities, create my own stage. So with that, I started hosting my own small events around South Florida. And then that led me to discovering the need for diverse women to connect and collaborate. And I started the Woman Empower Expo, and then now it's Woman Empower X because it's really turned into a full experience and a full platform to really help entrepreneurs grow their brand and business. So that's it's a longer story, but that's definitely the shorter version of it.
No, I mean, I've heard this story before, but every time I hear it, I'm just like, what? Like, how? And oh my God. And like, because what a series of events, to go from just, that, bubbly college student to you have 24 hours and a deadly infection spreading through your body. I mean, talk about a real like life or death situation that you firsthand experienced, but then also have so powered through and overcome. And I have that visual that you shared on your slides, your PowerPoint, of what you actually looked like in the ICU. And you would really be just praying for that person. That is so, it's just a mind-boggling what you've really overcome, and how you've used that to strengthen your now, your why, your how, your purpose. And also the thing that I love is that you had so much rejection off of such a powerful story. Not all of us have these life or death, experiences to kind of use as a catalyst within our speaking engagements, but to hear 60 no's and still not feel defeated and still go, okay, so how am I going to turn these no's into a yes in my own way? I just applaud you for that, because I could definitely relate to, I heard a lot of no's in my early career as well. And all those people are probably begging you to speak at their engagements now. So, so talk about a power story, and I think a lot of us who might be listening, whether it's on the live, whether it's on the recording, might go, holy, that story is incredible. I don't really have that type of breakdown for breakthrough, or what is my story, right? That's relatable and authentic, that connect to my target audience, whether it's on stage, whether it's virtually, whether it's for a customer, or whether it's for, just peers. And that is a question I get all the time, Alexa, from a lot of my coaching clients is, what story do I choose? How do I know it's the right story? How do I craft that story to be relatable to my audience? What would you have to say coming from someone who's such a credible speaker, also helping women, channel their speaking for their brand and business today?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I do get that a lot, right? People think that you need this life or death situation in order to inspire people. And that is farthest from the truth. I would say, what pivotal moment in your life can you contribute to where you are today? And it doesn't have to be this big thing. It literally could be a conversation that you have with your mom at the dinner table, because storytelling is really about learning how to take some ordinary story and turn it into something that's captivating, engaging, that really brings in the audience member to feel what you feel, and then to take some type of action because of that. So if you, for example, are a business owner and you started a membership that is focused on providing moms with some type of service, for example, then the story can be something like this. I felt so overwhelmed in my business. I felt so overwhelmed as a mom, and I was just running on this hamster wheel, and I felt like there was no end in sight. And I knew that I loved what I was doing, but I didn't want to do all of this other stuff in order to grow my business, all the social media, all this, whatever the service may be. And I knew there had to be an easier way. So I developed this new strategy that now it allows me to be with my family when I want to, grow my business as I want to, and I'm putting it all into this course membership that you can do the same thing. So of course it would go deeper in that, but you see how you took what you offer and you merged it with a relatable story. You have to think about how people can relate to you. Not everyone can relate to my near-death experience, but they can relate to feeling like it's so easy to give up. They can relate to waiting, right? They can relate to being in the victim mindset. So those are things that I tap into when I'm speaking, because again, it's all about that relatability.
And that's exactly it, like connecting the dot between your story and the relatable moment to your target audience. Your target audience is your audience that you're speaking to, but also your customer, your client, right? Because usually, if you're speaking to grow your brand and business, it is to grow your thought leadership. It is to grow your clientele. So it has to really impact and appeal to your customer or your client. And I like to kind of dumb it down because, we have to kind of think simple at times. Otherwise, we can overcomplicate everything, especially when it comes to being so vulnerable, like putting yourself out there, speaking to the public. And I like to say, focus on the 3 C's: character, conflict, conclusion. Character is you. Conflict is that breakdown that really led you to either give up, or how that breakdown made you reevaluate how you can do something better, stronger, or how you can help someone now overcome that breakdown to get to the conclusion, which is what you have to offer today, right? Your service or your product. Which is very, there's the character, conflict, conclusion moment in the story you shared with us at the top of the live stream here. So without further ado, Alexa so beautifully breaks down 5 steps to really strengthen your public speaking and how to really pivot it to your client and your customer. So I'd love to go through these 5 steps. Step number 1 being speak on what you know.
Yeah. So it's super simple, yet so many people are making it so complicated. Speak on what you know and what you're passionate about. When you do that, you're going to effectively communicate your message better, and you're going to come off more confident. I mean, think about it. If you were sent to go into a boardroom to speak on blockchain and you have no clue what blockchain is, you're going to feel not that confident compared if you went and you were speaking on something that you were very knowledgeable on and that you're super passionate about, because passion comes out in your voice, it comes out in your eyes, it comes out in your energy. And that is one of the most impactful ways to grow as a powerful speaker, because energy is contagious. Whether it's virtual or in person, people can feel your energy.
Agree. Totally agree. And there's nothing worse than the person speaking who's speaking like this and has that monotone cadence. And they're not really into what they're sharing. It's like, oh my gosh, snooze fest. And it is so true. Some people are so nervous to speak in public, but if you know what you're speaking about and you truly are an expert in that space, or you've done your research, you've done your homework, it should give you that confidence to step on that stage and go, I know what I'm talking about, so I'm here to deliver it and deliver it with oomph, right? Mm-hmm. And I always say, don't let your nerves get the best of you. Let your knowledge empower you. Let your expertise
I like that. Mm-hmm.
propel you, because that energy, that passion, that skill set is really going to resonate with who you're talking to. So I love that. Step 1, speak to what you know. Step 2, give it to us.
Step 2 is all about influential positioning. So public speaking has literally been the #1 marketing vehicle to grow my brand and business, because when you are speaking on a virtual or in-person stage, you have instant credibility. Social media won't give that to you. Running a Facebook ad won't give that to you. It gives you instant credibility because people automatically assume if you're on stage, you have something to say and you are somewhat credible to be speaking on that stage or on that panel, whatever it may be. So it is the best way to rise above the noise.
So agree. There's really nothing more powerful, and also the ripple effect of what it means to speak on stage, and leverage that opportunity when whether it's in and virtually. I really like to say everything we were talking about today is on stage and also virtual, because we have the opportunity to record ourselves virtually and in a physical location. Use that recording to help solidify your digital footprint, right? To give yourself credibility and thought leadership on your LinkedIn profile, your YouTube, your website. Take that 30-minute clip, chop it into, 60 to 90-second how-tos. And your one speaking engagement can be used in so many different ways strategically across your digital marketing efforts to enhance your personal brand and attract more clients or customers to your business. So love that. Step 3, you're all about connecting authentically.
So here's the thing. People follow people, not logos and brands. People connect with other people. So it is that simple. That's why speaking is so, so powerful to grow in any type of career, because it is the best way to connect authentically. Because again, if you think about it, people love following people that they can relate to, that they can learn from, that they can be inspired from. Even companies now, you see them creating personal brands around their company. Geico the Gecko, that is a personal brand. Flow from the insurance company, that is a personal brand. Because again,
Take from State Farm. Yes.
Exactly. Take from State Farm. Exactly. So those are like, these companies know what they're doing, and they're doing that for a reason. And so this is something you can easily do, especially as like a founder or a director or manager of a company. By you putting yourself out there and speaking on behalf of that company, it's going to grow overall.
I want to amplify that message times a million right now, Alexa, because that is such a big element in what I preach to my coaching clients who are really looking to leverage their personal brand as the biggest marketing vehicle for their business. And you and I walk that walk and talk that talk, because you and I have been running our businesses for years, but are the face and the voice of our company, of our business, attracting thought leadership, attracting opportunity, attracting revenue to our business, right? And community, of course, to our business. So you might be a small business owner, a big business owner, and there's nothing more powerful as you being the marketing tool, spearheading the charge and putting yourself out there. Yes. Virtually, live events, and even just video content, live streaming today. What did you call live streaming? A public speaking vehicle?
Oh yeah, I got all of my practice from live streaming, because when I was very sick during those years where I couldn't actually go and speak on a stage, I started live streaming. Back in the day, it was Periscope when that came out. And I got so much practice to learn how to ad-lib, to learn how to interact with the audience. Like there's so much opportunity to practice right now to get better and more comfortable in front of a live audience. Yeah, live streaming is amazing.
And you know what, even to that point, Alexa, you experienced 60 no's before you created your own small event, right, to speak at locally in South Florida. Back in 2007, I wanted to connect with my audience and have an opportunity to speak on a bigger stage, and I had to turn to local AM radio, because there was no such thing as digital or virtual or social at the time. So my first radio show, Teen Talk Live, was a local AM radio station.
That's awesome.
It is awesome, and I'm so thankful for that, real traditional to total social digital experience, evolution, because it was, where I got to hone my craft. But you and I didn't necessarily have the privilege that is available at our fingertips today. So for everyone waiting for that virtual speaking engagement, right, that opportunity to speak on X platform, every day you could be utilizing live stream to craft your message, solidify your story, really start building that community online. So, take advantage of all these great features that social media provides us. Thanks to Restream, which is where me and Alexa are broadcasting, a tool that we're broadcasting on. Restream allows me to be on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube at the same time. So we're here reaching a larger audience just thanks to one tool like Restream. So I totally amplify that message, Alexa. And that leads us to step four, which is a really big one, and that's selling authentically through speaking.
Yeah, so I'm not a big fan of selling, right? Like in the sense of what people associate it with. They associate it with a slimy way to sell and being salesy, but you have to sell in order to make money in your business. You have to sell yourself in order to grow in your career. And so one way to be able to sell really authentically is through public speaking, because what I found is when I'm up on stage, I'm sharing my story, I'm sharing my tips, I'm sharing my knowledge and my value, and it's all value driven, and they're walking away feeling inspired, empowered, and with tools and steps to take action after that. And then I share my business, what I'm doing today. Like, I've never had to say on stage, buy my book or buy tickets to my event or sponsor my event, but people come running up afterwards asking how they could work with me, asking, how they could be part of the event, whatever it may be. And so it actually is one of the best ways I've been able to sell in my business without ever really selling.
And isn't that the best method of advertising or marketing or PR, when it's so native and natural and authentic? Because what speaking is, it's a credibility builder. It's a way for you to connect with the audience in a more personalized approach, right? They're not just reading a post on social media. They're watching you, listening to you in real time or in a recording, right? If it's virtual, about your expertise, about your journey, about what you have to offer, about what solution you can help them solve, what solution you have to their pain point, their need. So if you do speak and speak well, it could be the most easy form of selling ever. And I totally I'm with you. There's no better direct to client selling opportunity than speaking. And a lot of the time it's never even a mention of, hey, if you want to work with me, go to da 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 da. It's that direct impact when you get off stage and people lining up to want to meet you, ask you more questions, and go, how can I work with you, right? So whether it's virtual or physical, really public speaking, to me, I agree, it's the best form of advertising, marketing, and PR for yourself and your business. So that really leads us to step number 5, which is to cultivate a community around your mission. And without community, I really don't feel like you can have that much impact, right? Your community can make your impact transform in 10 times, 20 times, 100 times by amplifying the message for you, with you. So talk about, okay, how do we go about cultivating a community around our public speaking efforts?
Yeah, cultivating community has been like a game changer for the growth of WomenEmpowerX and my personal brand. And the way that you can cultivate community through speaking engagements is by literally showing up and sharing again, like, what you are super passionate about around your mission, your movement. And then what a community is, it's people that are coming together for either they share some type of belief, they share some type of interest. And so if I'm up there on stage sharing about my mission to make an impact, to empower more women, to grow an impactful and profitable business, I'm cultivating a community who wants to do the same thing or wants to be part of that community. But it really does take the person speaking to really step into that leadership role. That is what really will empower people to take ownership over the community. So here's what I mean by that. You don't want people just following you. You want people feeling like they're part of something that's bigger than themselves. So
Mhm.
with WEX, we've always, the heart and soul of WEX, WomenEmpowerX, has been community since day one. When we hosted our first event, I literally had $0 for marketing and we had over 1,000 people there. I do not know 1,000 people myself. Like, that was all word of mouth. It was driven by the community because we instilled passion. We instilled fuel to say, like, this is not an Alexa Carlin event. This is not even a Woman Empower X event. This is all of us, because when we all come together, we all grow, and we're giving
Yeah.
you the platform, the space to do that through our digital membership, through our events, whatever it may be. But that's with any type of community. You can do the same thing. When you give people permission to take ownership over it and allow them to really feel like they have a voice, they are being heard, and that they're part of something that is doing great impact on the world.
Oh, amazing, amazing, amazing. Now, I think, okay, these one through five, these steps are essential and a core pillars to really, layer your foundation and growing your public speaking efforts, but also your community growth. Now, we just said, right, we all have at our fingertips the opportunity to flip on a live stream, to record ourselves on a video and post it on YouTube, or to, share it on IGTV. But there's a difference between kind of these, everyday videos and the person that's going to get paid to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe that there are X, Y, and Z credibility, right, needs that you need to have established in order to position yourself as a paid speaker. What would you say some of those essentials are today?
Yeah, that's a good question. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times, to position yourself as a paid speaker is to ask for a speaking fee. Believe it or not, someone one time told me I was getting paid maybe in like the $2,000 range a few years ago. And someone once said to me, you should be charging $10,000. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm there yet. And they're like, Alexa, what do you think makes a $10,000 speaker? And I was like, they just asked for $10,000. He goes, exactly. Of course you have to deliver. But I think a lot of times we stand in our own way. But to that point of that credibility, really, it comes down to showcasing the value you can give to an audience. Like, for our events, we're not looking at if you have 1 million followers. That doesn't matter to us. What matters is the value that our audience will take away from what you are speaking about. So it's about really figuring out how to position yourself, how to position your pitch, your bio, when you're pitching yourself to an organizer, and then showcasing, here's why I am worth, this speaking fee. And so the credibility can come from things you achieved. It can come from your business. I mean, sometimes it can come from social media, or if you've been in the press.
Community.
Right, of course. But you have to have done something that will inspire the event organizer to say, I want that person speaking on my stage. But at the same time, you have to get started somewhere. I mean, speaking is very much about momentum. And so you speak once, then someone sees you in the audience, they hire you to speak, and then it keeps on going. So it's just continuing to speak as much as possible in as many different situations as possible to finally land that paid gig.
Totally. I mean, I can't tell you, I haven't counted lately, but I'm probably 500 plus speaking engagements over the past 15 years. And I can't tell you how long it took me to land $1 to speak on stage, but I leveraged all opportunities that were relevant for my brand and my business and my audience. And I spoke for free. I even sometimes paid my way to get there to speak on stage, because I realized that was part of growing my thought leadership. It was part of helping grow more content to represent me as a speaker online. And practice makes perfect. You're not going to kill it or knock it out of the park on your very first speaking, gig. And if you do, awesome. But I don't think we should manage expectations, right? And that's why it's really great to practice on these live streams or video with yourself, so that you get more comfortable speaking about your story and to your audience. But yeah, so everybody wants to be a paid speaker. I do believe you have to pay your dues in order to monetize, speaking for your business. Would you say that really is the case in the year 2021?
Yeah, I do think there are dues that you have to pay. And also, I mean, if you've never spoken anywhere, free or paid, I mean, it's why would I pay you unless, again, you have like a New York Times bestselling book and maybe you've never spoken before, but that's probably hardly the case. But I still speak without a speaker fee for certain events. It kind of goes back to what you were saying, where if the target market is correct, if it aligns with my mission and ways that I can make revenue in other parts of my business, and I'm excited about it, and maybe the cost on my end is not going to be too much, then there are definitely reasons why I would say yes. So it's this formula to figure out when that it makes sense to speak for free and when you should always be charging.
Totally. And still today, likewise, Alexa, I still pick and choose the events that I want to show up and speak for free because it aligns with my values, my mission, my audience, and because I'm just passionate about, that school or that event or that charity. And that's something that you're going to have to pick and choose. And every event is an opportunity for you to network at as well. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know who's in the audience. You never know what client's going to come out of that engagement. I believe that there's an ROI from every speaking opportunity. It's what you make of it, though. So of my last questions for you, because we really talked about cultivating, speak on what you know, and how to really sell on stage, cultivate a community around your speaking. But there are a few key things, I think, in regards to like marketing tools that can set you better up for success when you're pitching yourself as a speaker. What would you say are like some things to kind of have on lock or things to have prepared if you want to start submitting yourself to even a platform like Wix?
Yeah,
what do you look for?
Great question. So there's a few things. Definitely have your bio really strong. For Wex, like we just read the first 2 sentences of your bio, which essentially is your pitch to us. And we know that if we should be moving on to the rest of your application or not. So really focus not on just listing out all these things you did, right? Like I can't tell you how many people start off their pitch by saying, I'm a mom, I'm a dog lover, I'm a sister, and I'm a friend. And I'm like, okay, cool. So am I. So really think about the audience. I always have the audience in mind. So really craft a strong, powerful bio and have that ready to go. So you are prepared when an opportunity comes your way. Another thing is professional photography, like headshots help a lot. And for the ways that social media can help you is we're all posting on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter. And we may not be getting that much engagement, right? Like you post and you maybe get 20 likes and 2 comments and you're like, why am I doing this? But you have to. Well, a way to utilize that to help you grow your business is by posting photos of you speaking at other events. Like if you go to my Instagram, I post even behind the scenes before a virtual gig. And I say, hey, I'm about to speak at this event. What that does is as an event organizer, when we're going to look at your brand, we're looking if it looks professional. Does it look cohesive or all the color, does it show like this is Chelsea, this is my brand, this is Alexa, this is her brand, or does it come off unprofessional? Because again, we're looking at bringing certain people onto our stage. And again, it's not about following, but the brand image goes a long way. And then if we see some photos on, say, your Instagram feed, for example, of you speaking, then automatically we know, oh, they have experience as a speaker. It doesn't have to be to a huge event. It could be literally like a 10-person Zoom meeting, but utilize that because even if you're only getting 20 likes, an event organizer could be looking at you and be like, oh, they're talking on productivity hacks. Like we need that for our next event.
Exactly. And it's kind of like monkey see, monkey do, but it's like the show and tell, right? Of you showing yourself doing public speaking, acting, virtual speaking, even setting up your live stream studio, right? Which could be a ring light, a tripod, and your iPhone today, everybody, right? Yeah. It doesn't have to be this sophisticated setup by any means. It's showing and telling that you are doing this, you take it seriously, and wrapping it into, your brand engagement, your brand content strategy. So I'm so glad that you said that. Also, the one other thing that I think is so vital, just going back to like reasons to speak for free to help build that foundation for you to have that much more credibility to ask for the speaker's fee and get the speaker's fee, is go to that paid speaking engagement. Don't ask for any money. Kill it on stage, and then follow up with asking for a testimonial. And have that person write on your LinkedIn profile, how great of a speaker you were, what you brought to the event, how the audience reacted, and then you're starting to grow that thought leadership and credibility piece of why people should hire you and pay you to speak. So there's so many ways to use live streaming, social media content, video, or free speaking engagements to help you land and position yourself for more opportunity ongoing. Okay, so I have one thing to ask you. This is like how we wrap up all of our C-Suite live streams, and it's kind of that 60-second finding your sweet spot, right, with the how to land and use virtual speaking to grow your business and your brand. In 60 seconds, if everybody could just do this more, it would really put them on more of the path to success or open up more opportunity. What would it be? 60 seconds, you have the floor.
In 60 seconds. All right. I would say the number one thing that people need to do is to put themselves out there and get seen. Nobody knows that you exist. Nobody knows that your message exists, and people need to hear what you have to offer. But you have to find the courage and the confidence to share that vulnerably with the world and put yourself out there. It is up to you. And it only takes one person to completely transform your life forever, but you'll never discover that power of one if you don't start taking action today.
Oh, yes. Yes. Like, it's so simple, but so essential. Start taking action and putting yourself out there. I can't tell you how many clients of mine are like, oh, well, I need this, or, oh, I need to get that, or, oh, I need No. Every day that you're not putting yourself out there is a day that someone's potentially not connecting with you or seeing you, or that you're not learning from how you did in that last live stream or video. So I love that. All right, just give us that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we rattled off so simply, so easily, kind of wrapping up our live today. The 5 steps to really consider when wanting to land and use more virtual or live event speaking engagements to grow your business.
Number 1, speak on what you know and what you're passionate about. Number 2 is to use the stage to help you gain that credibility and position yourself influential positioning. Number 3 is to connect authentically with the audience by being yourself. Number 4 is to use your story to sell your products, your services for itself from the stage. And number 5 is to cultivate that strong community.
So ending on community, Alexa, where can people stay in touch with you, follow you, even pitch you if they want to speak at a WEX event virtually or eventually? Her events are so amazing when they're back live and we're out of this COVID era. How can people stay in touch with you or even pitch you to potentially, be a speaker at one of your events?
No, thank you. You can connect with me on social media. I'm Alexa Rose Carlin all over social media. And then you can learn more about our upcoming virtual and hopefully next year in-person events by visiting WomenEmpowerX.com. And all the information on speaking is over there as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. And if there's any little message just let ring in your head, it's don't be the reason you don't get started, right? Don't be the person that's standing in your own way. Don't be the person telling yourself that you can't, because you absolutely can. And no need to overwhelm yourself, because you can use this trial and error opportunity with live stream and social media to hone your craft and also see what resonates most with your audience, and don't let viewership or follower count be the reason that you don't think it's good enough. If you're putting quality content out there, it's quality that will ultimately help you shine, right? Quality over quantity every day, all day, in my opinion. So I so appreciate all of these nuggets, all these gems, all this great insight. Alexa, love chatting with you always. And thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Have a great one, everybody. Again, connect with Alexa and I on social media. We're all about community and keeping in touch. And I'll see you here next week on the C-Suite. Have a good one, everybody.